Good evening and welcome to today's show. Today we talk about the Zambian Super League. We also talk about the under 23 qualifiers and the National League promotion chasing clubs. This is Ubuntu Channel Zambia, where we talk everything Zambian football. So I have my special guest, a journalist, formerly of Spring TV, now with Bola News, the infamous Bola News that is currently coming up and rising really well. So in today's episode, we focus mainly on ZSL's top 4 teams. ZSL's top 4 teams, we have Red Arrows, we have Power Dynamos, of Prison Leopards, of Napsa Stars as the top 4 best teams at the moment. These are the top 4 most happening teams. We also get to look at Tinkana Football Club. They are also dangling in the red zone. They've only won one match out of the 9 games that they've played. They beat Butcon away from home. This time around, they play against Red Arrows, a team that they have beaten left, right, and center every time Red Arrows traveled to Kitwe, to Busakile. But this game comes in the wake of Red Arrows have been doing really well. They've managed to beat Zesco United 3 times over the last couple of games. Kaumba, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I was giving an introduction on our topics of discussion today. We talk about the ZSL top 4, and we can also look at Tinkana FC. We also talk about the under 23 qualifiers that will be taking place tomorrow, the second leg match. Also look at the National League promotion chase. The National League is a tensely heated league. So that was the introduction.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to having an amazing one here.
Yeah, so before we waste a lot of time, we go straight into it. We talk about the top of the table team, which is the Red Arrows. Red Arrows are away to Nkana FC this weekend. They're in Wusakile. Over the last 4 meetings, Red Arrows have failed to pick a point in Wusakile. What do you think of this weekend's match?
I really think um, Red Arrows is currently in form. They didn't start so well. We didn't see them scoring much, but again they didn't concede much. So heading into this game against Tinkana, I think it's really going to be a cracker. It's going to be a very, very, very interesting match. But I would give it to Red Arrows. They really look like a team that is very confident and ready to defend the title. Yeah, because
Okay.
a team that goes 4 3 matches unbeaten isn't the team to play with. So they are really in form and they're enjoying it. And I do not think Kana stands a chance this weekend.
But don't you think that their form away at Chilata would come to haunt them?
You have to look at how they've performed in their last 3 matches. Yeah, against Nchanga Rangers, they scored three goals. Against Chambishi, they scored 4 goals. They beat Green Buffaloes. It's always difficult when Red Arrows is playing Green Buffaloes, but they've managed to beat Green Buffaloes. They beat Changa Rangers. They've also beaten Chambishi. Their scoring has improved. You know what I'm saying? So they keep on improving in every game. They've continued improving. And then when you look at Tinkana on the other side, they haven't, instead of improving, it's like they are depreciating and going low and low and low and low. So I think Red Arrows still has an edge over Nkana.
So if you follow this match
They
closely,
have done so well.
if you follow this match
Yeah.
closely again, let me just take you back to last season's match where Nkana FC lost the match 3-0. So Red Arrows had lost the first leg 2-1 at the Nkana Stadium. Then on came Nkana to Nkoloma Stadium, and then Red Arrows deliberately allowed fans. Nkana fans were to pay to gain entry into the stadium, but Red Arrows fans, as long as you have a Red Arrows jersey, you are given free entry into the stadium. So that was just a way
Yeah.
in which they needed a lot of their fans to show up for the big, tightly
Yeah.
contested match.
Obviously, you're talking about a club that has, I mean, many fans. When you talk about Nkana, it's not a small club. Ghana has that influence. You know what I'm saying? They influence nearly the whole copper belt. Many people in the copper belt supporting Ghana, one of the oldest clubs, and they also have a lot of fans. So when you're playing them, you really have to come up with strategies like what Red Arrows did last season. Allow your fans to enter for free as long as you're wearing a replica for this. For Red Arrows. So Ghana is not a pushover. They fight hard, but we have to be realistic and say the truth. Currently, they are not in form. They're not doing so well. I don't know. It will take a miracle for them to beat Red Arrows this weekend. I want to be
Okay,
that. I want to be like that. The best they'll get is a
this
draw game.
I feel this match is growing bigger and bigger by every match that comes, because
True.
the previous season, Red Arrows were the home team,
Yeah.
and then Ghana came to Nkoloma Stadium.
Yeah.
It was a fully packed Nkoloma Stadium that weekend. I remember vividly how the first half was
Yeah.
nil-nil, and then for Red Arrows, uh, they were rising in momentum. So what we knew was whenever Red Arrows
Mhm.
scores, especially in the second half, it was almost impossible for any team to equalize. But Nkana brought on players such as Freddy Shimenga, who came
Correct.
on and scored the equalizer. And then Alex Bazongonga scored late on. And then the drama that ensued is that we saw Red Arrows die-hard fans, those grannies that you see, weeping after the match because it was really painful. So Red Arrows losing to Nkana is something I think it's also brewing as a derby as well, because these matches are tense.
Wow.
And if
The,
we come back to Nkana this
the
season,
rivalry. Mhm.
Ghana have also slashed their ticket prices. So they've told their fans, instead of the 20 kwacha that they pay for the open win, they are allowed to pay 10 kwacha this weekend. And then
Wow.
for the VIP and the VVIP, they're paying 200 for VVIP, 100 kwacha for VIP, and then they want to crowd the open wing as much as possible. They are calling on their fans to come and back their team. And then Ghana fans will show up for this match because they want to witness their team beating a team that beat them 3-0 last season. Because it was for Ghana, I think they haven't
Yeah.
forgotten that, and they
Obviously,
want
obviously,
to get their revenge.
yeah, obviously, in Ghana will always, attract huge crowds, especially when they are playing at home. Even me here in Lusaka, when Ghana is playing in Koloma or in Sunset or any other stadium, I always want to go and watch because it's going to be electric. It's always fun to watch Ghana play. They have this kind of, they have something in them that makes you feel good, enjoying the game. So obviously, in Ghana, with or without them slashing the ticket prices, they were still going to have a fully packed stadium, and it's really going to be intimidating for Red Arrows. Uh, but I still feel Red Arrows still has an edge over Ghana because a team that goes,
I,
three matches without a win, and then you're playing against a team that has gone, you know, three matches unbeaten as well, scoring more than 5 goals, if I'm not mistaken, scoring more than 5 goals, and then you, on the other hand, has only managed to score 2 goals in your last 3 matches. So Red Arrows has an edge over Ankara. They stand a very big chance of beating them this weekend.
but I feel for Ghana FC, I think the pressure is getting to the players. They need to deliver because it's been, you can see. Okay, I had an experience with Nkana. they they traveled to Mazabuka, and then I was one of those covering that match. And then, unfortunately, despite playing well, they lost to a very good Musa side. In as much as they may be rocked by the officiating
Yeah.
issues, but Musa
Also,
played well that day, and their goal was a clean goal. No issues of penalties, foul calls or anything. They beat Nkana 1-0, and you'd see how much disappointed the players were. They put in a lot of effort. It took them, I think, a lot of minutes for them to even step out of the field because they were filled with disbelief. You would see that passion, that zeal in them. They are not happy with the situation that the club was going in. And I think the Red Arrows match is a match that I think it's a game for it's their time for redemption. I think Ghana may just pick a win this time around. They have been in slumping form, but I feel Ghana can pick a result.
well, it's bola hapa zaidi they say, and in Zambian football, it's somehow difficult to predict. That's why I don't predict. But today on this one, I'm forced to predict a win for Red Arrows. So if Incana is to get a positive result in this one, it would be a draw. A draw would be enough for them, honestly, because um, Red Arrows is enjoying top form. Like I said, they're enjoying top form. 3 matches unbeaten. They've scored more than 5 goals in their last 3 matches. Of course, some people would say, no, you are banking on history and all that. But football, in modern football, we talk about the statistics and how a team has been performing, scoring a goal in every after, I think every after 80 minutes or something like that. They really have a very good they've had very good stats in their last 3 matches, which gives them you know confidence heading into this match. And then the Nkana side hasn't really done much this season. 1 win in their last 9 matches. Man, that's horrible. Yeah.
So okay, we go to Sunset Stadium where we will be witnessing second place Power Dynamos traveling away to Lusaka and take on Zanaco FC. Another cracker of a match. It always produces explosive goals. We've seen explosive goals in this encounter. What do
Yeah.
you think are the chances of Zanaco picking a result at home against an informed Power Dynamo side?
Well, I think this one would be one of the most difficult games to predict, if you ask me. Zanaco has had a very poor run at home, but their last match at home they won, and I'm sure they will be looking at it as motivation heading into this match. But then when you look at Power Dynamos, 5 games unbeaten, yeah, their last 5 matches unbeaten. Uh, they just they just defeated Buildcon 4-0. They also defeated Cow Warriors coming from behind and beating Cow Warriors at home. That was huge for them. And they've picked up away wins this season between them. They've been impressive away as well as at home. So it's really going to be difficult for Zanaco to beat Power Dynamos, but it might go either way. It might go either way. But um, Power Dynamos, of course, is a better side in this one.
Can you call it their season? Can you tell Power Dynamo that it's their season now?
Until they beat Nkana, then we can say it is their season. Of course, they
The,
have to beat Nkana first in the Kitwe
the,
Derby.
the, the,
They have to beat then we give it to them that no, it's their season. Of course, it's just been nine games. It's nobody's season yet. Just 9 games. I think it would be too early for us to start saying no, it's their season and all that. We saw Changa Rangers starting with so much momentum, and then they're just going down and down and down and down. So we can't really tell that okay, this is their season and stuff like that. Yeah.
do you think the recent results at Zanaco may be attributed to the technical changes that are being done at the club? Do you think it has had an effect on the club and
Well, of course,
and the result?
yeah, yeah, it has, it has. It has big time because we've seen Amunike taking the center stage, and I'm still wondering whether he's the coach or he's a technical advisor, as they've said, because he's been on the touchline in the last match at Sunset. We saw
A
him,
coach in waiting.
issuing instructions, yeah, making instructions while Coach Kelvin Kind was just sitting on the bench. It was Amunike who was literally doing almost everything and giving instructions, deciding who is substituted and and whatnot. So I feel to some extent it has, but then we cannot just judge because of one game. I think it's just been with the team for a game, 2 games or so. Yeah, so maybe after 2, 3 games, 5 games, then we can say, okay, it's really had an impact on it on the team. I feel it's too early. Yeah, it's too early, but for now, yeah, we can give him his flowers. Yeah, we
Next
can give
up,
him
we
his
go
flowers.
to Ndola, where we take a look at Forest Rangers, who will come Prison Leopards. This Prison Leopard side are the only
Yeah,
team in the ZSL that are yet to lose a match, and then they have not lost a match
yeah.
since.
Still,
Uh,
and still.
what do you think about the
Uh,
Forest Rangers versus the Prison Leopards match?
pre- this is going to be a very interesting match. Of course, we know Prison Leopards hasn't lost any match this season. They have an informed striker who is leading the scorers charts in Luvinda Mundia with 5 goals in his last 9 matches. Quite impressive, if you ask me. But then w- it's Zambian Super League. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the Zambian Super League. But I feel Leopards really growing. They have this unity in them that is helping them, post good results. They seem very united on the pitch. I always say that sometimes it's more than just the tactics, the skills that you have. Sometimes it's about the team spirit. So they seem to be united and they are really fighting tooth and nail for anything. So it's going to be difficult for Forest Rangers, of course, but we cannot rule them out. Forest Rangers have been good. They've maintained about uh, 6 clean sheets this season. Yeah, and their goalkeeper, of course, Alan Chiwe is the leading uh, goalkeeper with the most clean sheets this season. They've only conceded 4 goals. Yeah, so that is quite impressive. They've only conceded 4 goals, so they might give Prison Leopards a very tough game. And a draw game, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends into a draw game because uh, Forest Rangers is very good defensive wise because maintaining 6 clean sheets and then conceding only 4 goals, that is quite a good numbers that they have. So it's going to be a tough one, but I would predict a draw game for the two of them.
Okay. For the Forest Rangers match, I think Prison Leopards may just edge Forest Rangers because I was watching Forest Rangers versus FC Moza this past weekend, and in
Yeah,
as much as the officiating was bad, it wasn't the best of officiating, but the overall play, Musa really played well. So one thing about sorry to just delve out of the Forest Rangers Prison Leopards, but one thing about FC Musa is this.
yeah,
In as much as we may be talking about the officiating, we may be talking about the officiating at Nakambala Stadium, but out in out,
yeah,
this is a club that play good football at their home. They don't give opponents a chance. And then their results,
yeah,
they score good goals. Like they just catch their opponents off guard. For the penalty, it
yeah,
still remains a questionable penalty, but I still think Forest Rangers just failed to play their usual passing game. They decided to play long balls, which really did not bear fruit because Peter Mwengeni up front did not provide much of solutions for Forest Rangers. And I think if they go back into next weekend's match, this very weekend's match against the Prison Leopards, and then go with that very same approach where they want to hit those long balls, I feel they may not beat or they may not even score a goal or maybe hit a shot on target when playing against a Prison Leopard side that have been really solid in defense. We also look at their strikers. Their strikers have been really out of form. We only have Clifford Mulenga and also Moela Libamba, who've only scored, I think, 3 goals so far for the club. The other strikers have really
Yeah.
been out of form. Putting it an all round compared to this Prison Leopard side, this Leopard side, their strikers are scoring, and we are seeing midfielders scoring in that team. So Prison Leopards have better options going forward.
Yeah.
Forest Rangers need to dig deeper in order to pick a result in this match. It's gonna be a tough match, but I still feel Prison Leopards may just have that edge over Forest Rangers.
Yeah, they might have, like I've said, Prison Leopards have been impressive. They have, one of the sharpest strikers that we have seen so far in the Super League, in Lubin Damundia, 5 goals in 9 matches. That gives him an edge over, Red Arrows, when if we are to consider the head-to-head uh, comparison. But then, my argument is that Forest Rangers has really been good in terms of their defense. They haven't scored much. They've drawn most of the games this season, about 4 draws, if I'm not mistaken. 4 draws, and they haven't scored more than 2 goals. Is it? Yeah, they haven't scored more than 2 goals in any of their matches, which is really worrying for them because they seem not to have strikers like you say, but they have very good defenders. 6 clean sheets and only conceded 4 goals. That is impressive. And Prison Leopards might not just see that goal they want. That's where I stand right now. So I would say it can end into a draw game, and Prison Leopards will still get their unbeaten run.
One club that has come in for me as a surprise is Napsa Stars. They are coming from the National Division One. They haven't brought in a lot of reinforcements, but look at them flying in
Yeah.
top four. What do you think what has really helped them gain that momentum and fight for a top four place?
Like I said earlier about Prison Leopards, it's about the unity that they enjoy. They have this kind of mentality with them, starting from their coach, the players. They've been together for some time. Like you say, they were in the national division. They didn't buy players that much. They didn't make any reinforcements that much, apart from Augustine Mlenga and a few others. They have been together. They know each other. They understand each other. The chemistry in that team. When you visit their training, you agree with me that they have really come to know each other. They know each other so well that they know if we do if we give this guy a long ball, he's going to score. And then the coming in of Augustine Mulenga has just brought more fire to the team. So I give it up to them. They really have a plan. I think they have a system as well. They really want to achieve something, and it's going to happen if they'll continue like that. So Naxo Stars, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I said it when they beat Red Arrows to win the Absa Cup. I said it, this team is gonna be difficult to beat in the Super League next season, and it's happening. So I'm not really surprised that Napsa Stars is performing like this.
And a quick run through over in the red zone. We have Cabo Warriors, we have Nkana, we have Butcon, and also have Chambishi. Do you think it's time Butcon got relegated? Do you think they have what it takes to survive?
Definitely, Green Buff. I mean, Buildcon is going to be relegated. It's almost obvious. Though it's too early to say, but if they continue what we have already seen, I think relegation is on the way. You can't go 9 matches without winning, and you still have hopes of winning the league. I don't think so. So they really need to improve. Massive improvement have to be done at Buildcon. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if they did not buy players. That I have to find out. But they've been whacked. They've really been whacked. Everyone is just beating them. They become the punching bag. It's even embarrassing to draw with Buildcon now. If a team draws with Buildcon, it feels like you've lost because almost everyone is picking up 3 points from Buildcon. So it's really tough for them. And then when you look at the other team, Chambishi, they've not they're not so bad. They're not so bad. But football being football, you know, one way, what somebody has to be in the relegation zone, whether we like it or not. And I think Chambishi still has a lot to do. I mean, competing in in the top tier like the Zambian Super League, where competition is becoming more and more and more and more and more tougher. Yeah, so they they need to improve. They need to improve. If it means buying players, they have to do that. I think next in the next transfer window, they have to do that. Otherwise, uh, we should be saying bye bye to Chambishi from the Super League. They need to go back to the national division and improve their game. I think the Super League it has become too big for them. They really have to do that. I'm sorry to their fans. Yeah, it looks like it's too big for them. They need to improve massively, honestly.
How about Cabo Warriors? Do you think Cabo Warriors will be more patient with George Wandamina?
Uh, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but then you cannot really blame George Landamina entirely for the poor performance. They haven't really been that bad. I've watched a number of their games at Railway Stadium in Kau twice this season. I've watched them there, and they're not really bad. You can see the plan is there, the system is there. It's just uh, the players who haven't yet grasped the concept from George London. But of course, it's going to take time. That's why it is important that when you're hiring a new coach, you have to bring him on time. You know what I mean? You have to bring him on time so that he can uh, sign players, have play some preseason games with them. I feel like George Landamina does not know most of the players. He's learning them. He's learning them. He's trying to know them. And I think if they will be a little bit more patient with him, I think they will start winning. They're not really that bad. They're not bad. It's just that they are still trying to know the coach and also the coach trying to know the players. I think that's where the biggest problem is. Otherwise, they'll get there. They'll get there.
And then we now go to the fixture lining up. We have Kwazi versus Butcon that has been moved from Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, and they've now moved it to Trade Fair grounds. Do you think these fixture changes and then this short notice venue changes would affect preparations for the clubs?
Uh, I think they are now used to it because, I mean, this is not new in the Zambian Super League. You just hear that this team will not be playing from their home ground, they'll be playing in Chingola and have to travel. I think clubs are used to it and they don't even object to that. So Um, it will affect them because of obviously playing in front of your home fans has that kind of different it brings that different atmosphere to the players. The 12th player, like they say, the fans are very important. Yeah, somehow it does affect them, but then I feel Zambian clubs are used to it now because you do double headers instead of playing at your home ground. You have to go to a different club because the match will be live on TV in the double header. So I think it does to some extent, but I think they're used to it now. Yeah.
So as we close on the Super
Okay.
League, I want you to comment on two clubs. We have Kansanshi Dynamos and we also have Zesco United. So Kansanshi Dynamos have been forced to play their games away at Lumwana Stadium. And then Zesco United, I feel there's a turmoil at the club. They let go of their coach, which I think was a bad choice. It's a bad decision. And now we have reports that some of the players are getting into fist
Yeah.
fights. And what do you think is wrong with a club as big as Esco United failing to put their house in order? And when you look at their log standing on the table, it is not as impressive. They failed to beat Musa, and we also had some comments being made by their coach, which was very
Yeah.
disappointing for a senior coach like him. What do you think Zesco United has done wrong? This is a club that has been admired by a lot of people over the past couple of years, but this season hasn't been the best for them. What do you think is really wrong with this club?
I think there is something wrong with Zesco. Obviously, they do not have the depth. You know what I mean? There's no depth in the Zesco United team. You know a team is good, has depth in in their squad when the substitutes that you bring in that impact. I'll give you an example of Napsa Stars. Napsa Stars will start with a different squad, and then they make changes. They remove Augustine Mlenga, they remove Musonda, the Musonda guy who's been brilliant for them so far. And then bring in Sabubukama, Sabubukama, who just changes the game within, a blink of an eye. So that's the kind of depth that Zesco United doesn't have. Their substitutes, when you look at their bench, there's really nobody that you can say, okay, if this one comes in, things are going to change. We can bank on him to give us goals. So Zesco United needed to do more signing, bring in quality players. You know what I mean? Bring in quality players. I feel they've also rushed quite a number of their youngsters. Um, they're good, but the responsibilities are just too huge. It's, it's 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 one of the mistakes that most clubs and national teams actually do when you rush your young players. You know what I'm saying? So bring in quality players and let the youngsters, play in the background. Introduce them in the second half, but not where they become starters and they're now doing a job on training, something like that. Yeah, I'm not taking away from the youngsters. They're very good players, promising superstars. We might see some of them, getting um, big deals very soon in the future. You look at Mukuka; he's a very, very brilliant player that I always admire. Yeah, but again, the responsibility is just too huge. He's a young player, and you cannot, put the whole attack on his shoulders. That is too much for a youngster. So Zesco United, this problem is beyond the coach. Like you said, it was quite a little bit unfair for them to fire their coach, not to send to part ways with their coach. But again, it is an administrative decision. They have their own reasons. But I really, really, I strongly feel they needed to make more quality signings. They needed more players in their squad. And
How
not only
about
players, but players
Kansashi?
with experience.
How about Kansashi Dynamos? Do you think
Kansashi Dynamo,
playing
I
away
do
from
not.
yes, you're saying?
Playing away from home. Yeah, Kansashi Dynamo is playing away from home. Yeah, quite all right. It has, like I said, it has it impacts them in some way, but I feel most Zambian clubs are used to playing away from home. We see these things almost every time, so it shouldn't be a new thing as new. But they are poor performers. I don't know. Maybe you know they made signings that weren't really adding depth to the club. We're talking about signing players with quality. Who bring depth into the squad, but then just signing any player just because they are kicking the ball. Yeah, so they needed to make proper signings. But again, I wouldn't say they are really, really bad. They're a good team, very difficult to beat in Solwezi if you ask me. Follow them at home, they can give you a heavy beating. So we might give them time. I'm still confident they might uh, do something as the season unfolds. Yeah, they are not really bad. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much on your thoughts, on sharing your thoughts with us over the Zambian Super League, the top four, and the upcoming matches for the clubs in the top four, and some pointers on Zesco United, Nkana, and Kansashi Dynamos. Now we take our attention to the under 23 qualifiers. We have Zambia
Yeah.
playing host to Celera Lyon tomorrow at the
Mhm.
National Hero Stadium. Uh,
Yeah.
what do you think of this match? Zambia played out to a 1-1 draw away in Monrovia, Liberia. Do you think we have what
Yeah.
it takes to beat this Celera Lyon club side and progress to the next round?
Yeah, I watched I watched the first leg match on the Sierra Leone Facebook page. Of course, I struggled with network; it was skipping and all that, but I managed to watch. And what I saw wasn't really impressive. First of all, yeah, the boys managed to get a vital you know goal in Liberia, which was very very important. Very good for us, but the performance wasn't really good, and they really have to improve because um, the first half that I watched, because the first half that I watched, the guys were playing. uh, The ball was played almost the entire 45 minutes was being played, in their own half. We barely saw the ball going in the Sierra Leone half, and that is very dangerous for such a level. The 2024 Paris Olympics are at stake. The 2023 Morocco Africa Cup of Nations under 23 is also at stake. So, they need to improve. That is my honest opinion. They weren't impressive in Sierra Leone. I mean, these are teams that we should be beating, 5-0, 3-0, and not just 1-1, and we have to depend on a penalty. No. So I think going into tomorrow's match, we have to attack more. We really they really have to be more aggressive if we are to progress. Because from what I've been hearing and what I've seen today, we had a conversation with the Sierra Leone coach, and he's very confident. He says we're not here to joke. We are here to fight, and we are going to fight. He's not even intimidated by the fans. And as the players are telling you the same, we are here to fight. We really want to go to the Africa Cup. And this should tell you, this should ring a bell that, everybody here wants it. You're not special. I mean, if I was the coach, I was going to tell the boys, you're not special. Everybody wants this opportunity that you have. Everybody wants to go to the Africa Cup. So you really have to up your game. So it's going to be a tough match. But of course, we have an advantage, 1-1. We end the match 0-0. We go through, but still, I won't be impressed if it ends 0-0. What we need is to be more aggressive and score goals.
How about on the striking force? Do you think the coach should give FC Musa's Andrew Piri a nod ahead of Zesco United's Enoch Sakala and Napsa Stars Jimmy Mukia? Do you think Andrew Piri deserves a place in the starting lineup?
I'm not really for the idea of bringing in new players that did not play in the first leg. First of all, when you look at competitions such as this one, players grow as time goes on. So they played the first match, they will learn one or two things and understand. Okay, here I should have done this. I think the coach can maybe make a little changes. I would like to see Jimmy Mukea, of course, starting Joshua Mutale as well. Maybe Joshua Mutale can come in as a substitute. I feel he plays better when he comes in as a second half substitute, something like that. He's really brilliant when he comes in. He's an impact player, very, very brilliant. He's actually one of my favorites. So maybe just those few changes. I wouldn't love the coach to make many changes. Yeah, consistency is also important in such competition. Players grow as the competition goes. So we should let the guys who played in Sierra Leone play, give them another opportunity to play, and let's see what they will do.
All right, thank you so much for that. We now go to the National Division One League. So we have Mpakalitente, mighty Mofulira Wanderers, leading the
Yeah,
log. They beat
yeah,
Trident and displaced them from top of the table. Do you think this is their season? This is their
yeah,
season to make it to the Super League?
yeah. They really have a chance. They really have a chance. If you look at last season, they were close. They were very close to promotion, but then things happened. NAPSA was just too good, and they NAPSA and Changa Rangers were way too good. But I feel this could be their time. They have really worked so hard. They made some reinforcements during off season. I was in Mufwila at the start of the season. Yeah, I was in Mufurila, and we had a chat with some of the players, some of the coaches, and also fans. And you can feel it in Mufurila that everybody is really, backing the team to get back to the Super League. This is a song that they're singing. We are getting back to the Super League. We're getting back to the Super League. They do not care who you are, but all they want is to get back to the top flight. And I feel they stand a chance. Yeah, they stand a chance of bouncing back in the Super League. It's been long overdue. And if they fail this season, then I don't know when they'll I don't know when they'll be promoted. But yeah, I would agree and give them a benefit of doubt. Yeah, yeah, but they
So,
really have to work hard. Not easy. Trident has been excellent as well. I think they've played so well so far. Followed quite a number of their games. They're not so bad. They're not so bad, but I really give it to Mufurila Wanderers. This is their time, and they have to accept it with both hands and work really, really hard for them to achieve it.
uh, when we look at the top four, we have Wanderers, we have Indeni, we also have Trident Football Club, and we also have Kafue Eagles. Do you think all these four clubs would make it to the Super League, or which team do you think will fail to make it to the Super League among these four?
Um, I think I think Mufurila Wanderers has an edge over all the teams so far based on the games that we have seen. They have an edge over the other three teams. In Deni as well. They've been impressive. They stand a chance. They have experience in the Super League. They were recently there, and I think they have that passion to go back to the top flight. To the top flight. Kafue Eagles, I haven't really watched them much, but I do not think they are ready for the Super League. They're not ready for the Super League. It will take a miracle. It will take a miracle. We'll see as as the season unfolds. Trident looks promising. It looks promising. Well funded financially. The club looks really, yeah, impressive, and they seem to have a plan and a plan and a vision of what they want to achieve. So um, I would I would say in Benny, Villa Wanderers and Trident stand a chance so far based on what we've seen. But of course, things are bound to change. But for now, I would put my money on those three.
Okay. Uh, we have Concola Blades, we have Young Green Buffaloes, and we also have
Yeah,
Jumulo chasing as a chasing pack. They occupy position number 5, 6, and 7. So Concola Blades, I may say they're the big boys of the National League, but at the turn of the season,
yeah,
they found it really difficult to pick positive results, and they find themselves
yeah.
in seventh position. Do you think they may turn this around and find themselves in the top four?
Yeah. The season is still young. Like I said, the season is still young. That's why it's very difficult. Uh, that's why I also mentioned that Mufulira Wanderers has to work really, really hard because I think the National Division One, I mean the National Division League is very difficult, very, very difficult. Any team that comes out from them comes to the top flight, to the Super League, they become very tough. So you understand where they're coming from. It's very difficult in the national division, and um, I think Concola Blades will make it. Will make it to the top four if they really, really work hard. But for now, they really have to change the style of play and also improve. Massive improvement is needed. Yeah, because it's not easy. It's not easy.
Do you think this is the end of Lusaka Dynamos? We may see them
It's not easy,
relegated to
but
the
they might
lower
just
leagues.
displace the fewer egos and find them.
How about Lusaka Dynamos? Do you think this is the end of the club?
Well, they look they. I watched Lusaka Dynamos against Mufurila Wanderers, and they didn't look good. They didn't look good. I watched them in Mufurila. They didn't really look good. Uh, like I've been saying, that league is very difficult. It's very, very difficult. They need to work. But for now, I don't think they even have a chance of finishing in the top four. They do not have it. But I do not think they might relegated further. No, they will remain in the national division, but they will not be promoted to the Super League. There's still a lot that has to be done at Lusaka Dynamo. Yeah.
How about Atletico Lusaka? How do you think about that club?
Every superstar there, every good player there is bought. So how do you gain promotion? When a youngster pops up, it's a team that has so many brilliant players. If you watch Atletico Lusaka, you'll be shocked. They are very, very talented players. But today you see a very good player playing for Atletico. The other day he's playing for Red Bulls. The other day he's playing for Green Buffaloes and all that. So it's difficult. I think they will be there. But I just remember that there's also Lusaka, a city of Lusaka. They brought in a new coach, and he looks like he has a plan, he has a vision, and they could also be contenders for the top four finish. And I think they're quite decent. They beat Mufurira Wanderers the last time I watched them at Woodland Stadium. They defeated Mufurira Wanderers at Woodland Stadium. So I think they are also a team that we cannot rule out. They still have a chance as well. But like I mentioned, Zindeni, Mufurira Wanderers, and Konkola Blades, yeah, but we can't rule out Lusaka Dynamo. I mean, City of Lusaka. They also have very good players. A new coach who seems to have confidence and also seems to know what he wants to achieve. So they might just be a surprise package in the national division. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much on those thoughts on the National Division One. And we now go to. I would like to take you back a little bit to the Super League on FC Muza. What do you think this
Yeah.
club has been doing right? Because they've beaten big clubs. They've beaten Nkana, they've beaten Forest Rangers. They picked a point away at Forest Ranger at Power Dynamos. What do you think this club has been doing right?
If you remember very well what I said about Master Stars, I think I would say it again on Muda FC. They are not really the best team that we have in the Super League. They do not have they, they do not have the most you know the most skilled players that we have in the Super League. But what is helping them is that they are united. They have you know this kind of winning spirit and mentality with them that is helping them beat these clubs. Sometimes it takes more than just skill and tactics to win a match. It also takes unity. It also takes the togetherness. When you look at that team, it's like a family. You know what I mean? It's like a family. Everybody respects each other. They know each other. They've been together for a long time, and they know what they want to achieve. So it's more than just the skill and the tactics, but also the unity in the team. So I think that is what is helping them beat most of these teams. These big teams, there's individual wanting to impress as individuals. Everybody wants to be the superstar of the team. But then when you look at Musa, everyone is helping each other to play better. So I think that is what is giving them an edge over some of these big teams. Yeah.
So we go to one transfer that is currently happening. We are told Emmanuel Mwinde is close to joining UAE club, FC Hata. This is a club that had Mwape Musonda, who spent 8 months at the club. They now close in on another Zambian striker, Emmanuel Mwinde, and a deal may be secured anytime soon. Negotiations have reached an advanced stage. What do you think about our Zambian national team imports?
I think it's a very good it's a very good move for him. Of course, we should understand that
Looks like we lost our guest there. So as we were talking about the transfer involving Zambian striker Emmanuel Mwinde. This is a player that has featured for Buetcon, he has featured for Nkana, he has featured for Zanaco, he has also been signed by Forest Rangers. Now he goes to a UAE club. Over the last 4 months, he hasn't had a club. He was training with Zanaco FC. Earlier in January, he was signed on a 6 months loan, on a 6 months deal with Zanaco FC. But at the end of the season, Zanaco and the player failed to meet and strike a deal, thus prompting the player not to renew his contract with Zanaco FC. So now he's in the Middle East. He's trying to secure a deal with FC Hatta. I think we can wish him the best, but we also ask him to continue working hard, continue pushing in the work, so that other young talents around the country may also get an opportunity like he is getting. Look at the Patson Dakas, the Enoch Mwepos. The world now knows that there's a country called Zambia which is able to produce talented players as we look at the Patson Dakas, the Enoch Mwepus, the Fashion Sakalas, and all of that. We also go to players such as Edward Chilufya, who have seen little game time since the start of the season. For Edward Chilufya, he started his game yesterday when FC Michelin traveled to Lazio. Unfortunately, they lost the match 2-1, which just means that they remain on 5 points. Lazio moved to 8 points. For Edward Chilufya, I think when we go to his development at FC Jew Gardens, I think he was coming up really well. Even when he joined FC Midtjylland, it was another good move for me, I think. But the mere fact that he's unable to command a starting place at the club is what is of worry to me, because I think he's a really talented lad who has been putting in a lot of work. For the national team at under 20, he put in a lot of work. And now I think this is his time to shine. Once he gets that opportunity to start more league matches, I think he will be able to show what exactly he's made of. So we have a number of players abroad. We also have players such as Klings Kangwa, who are featuring for Serbian Giants, Crvena Zvezda. For players such as Klings Kangwa, he missed the last 2 matches due to injury. He was back yesterday. He managed to come on as a substitute to help his club pick a vital win against the Turkish club Trabzonspor, and they still have chance to qualify to the next round of the Europa League. They still have chance to qualify to the next round of the Europa League, which I think for a Zambian player is a really big positive. Looking at the number of players that we've managed to have in these UEFA competitions, and the more these our players, I think, put in good performances in the leagues, that raise the Zambian flag high. So that also puts the country on the map, and also exposes these young players that are currently doing well in the league. They may even get better deals with players with clubs abroad. So my name is Lameck, and I would like to thank every one of you who has been following us live here on Ubuntu Channel Zambia. We apologize for holding the show earlier compared to how we always held it at 21 hours. So thank you so much, and goodbye for now.